Yeah.
Reflect on that first season as head coach of the Bulldogs. What stands out to you about the last year or so, I guess?
It was an incredible year. I'm so proud of our student athletes. Their commitment to excellence in everything that they do, whether it was a classroom, community, or on the ice, was exceptional. We had, I think, exceptional buy-in from everybody, our staff, our administration, our support staff, our student athletes. Honestly, I think it was one of the most fun years that I've ever had in hockey. Obviously, we fell a week short of what we wanted to do, but I couldn't be more proud of everybody, our entire program, and everything that everyone did in order to get us to where we got to.
Joking and ragging on Maura for leaving so late, but that did have to pose a bit of a challenge for you. Maura leaves late May. You don't officially get the job, I think, until July.
Yep.
For you, did things go as you thought they would with taking over late? Like, what are the challenges that all presented to you, in your first year as head coach? Or did you not encounter as many challenges as maybe others would have faced taking over a program that late?
Well, obviously, it was tough to see Maura leave. She's a really good friend of mine. Her and I connected so well, and we had a special bond. So that was tough. But in knowing that she was super confident in me being able to be named interim head coach and to be able to take over and just make sure that everything continued to go the way that we needed it to go, because we knew we had something really, really special in the group that we had. And so I just wanted to make sure that I did everything that I could to make sure, whether I was here or not, that we were going to leave the program in the best place possible. So that was my mentality. I just wanted those girls to know that, I'm going to be here and, try to do whatever I can to make sure that they're in a good spot moving forward. So, for me, it was such an honor to be able to be named the head coach and to take over. And I thought everything was pretty, seamless. I think it was a good thing just having been here for the last, however many years, and so I thought everything was a pretty easy transition.
What you learned about yourself, maybe you've been a head coach.
Yep, sure.
Before at a lot of different levels, even in college here, but
yeah.
First year as head coach of the Bulldogs at this point in your career, what did you learn about yourself and the new program in the last year?
Well, one, I think just the importance of, I think I knew this as a head coach, but to really embrace being yourself. You don't have to change when you're a head coach or an assistant coach. The most important thing is your effort and your commitment to excellence and putting forth the best product that you can put for your student athletes so that they can reap the benefits of that. So I think that was really important for me. And also just, I was just so excited because I believe in UMD. I believe in, the support that we have with our administration and everything that was that's in place here at UMD. It's such a professional environment. And that's what just for me is so exciting. Everything to Amsoil Arena to, all of our support staff, everybody's full time and everybody here cares and is so passionate about being the best that they can be for our student athletes. So it was just such a wonderful opportunity that I, was able to take on.
What tweaks would you like to make now, starting with this off season and such, as you get a chance to a full off season now, as you really get a chance to make this program your own?
Yeah, I think it's not so much. You always want to reflect and go back and be like, how can we continue to grow? And that's what we're doing right now. We're having end of the year debriefing meetings with everybody, starting with all of our returning athletes, and then the ones who are going to be moving on. And we want to get feedback and we want to learn, what went well, where did we see the most growth, and how do we continue to grow? So those conversations, those critical conversations, are going to be really important for us.
What was the key to this? What point of the top keys that made this team this year as good as they were? They were able to overcome that rough stretch and to be back in an NCAA regional final.
Yeah,
Our
student athletes, every single one of them, we're so lucky. We have incredible people first, who really care about what they do. Like I said, their commitment to excellence is through the roof. Every single day they showed up to Amsoil Arena with incredible attitudes. They're so passionate about what they do, and they just gave it their all. So when you have that, that's just incredibly special. And we all, as a coaching staff, support staff, administration, we all embraced it, and just kind of let them roll with it. So I would say everything comes down to them, and they were rock stars.
Is that what you guys were? Well, you had a short roster.
We did, yeah.
Which can be a challenge.
Yep.
How do you feel you guys were able to overcome that? Again, was it just players putting in that extra effort?
Absolutely. And knowing that every single time you step on the ice, whether you're in the weight room, whatever you're doing, you've got to make sure you're giving your all, right? Because you are limited with your numbers. I think one thing about this year, when we got so short rostered, I think it really also allowed everyone to see how every single person on our team is important. And we need everybody to be able to be ready when they're called upon. So that was pretty special for our team to be able to experience that, and I think that we're going to be able to grow with that going forward, to remember what we did this past year with limited numbers and the importance of, with whoever we have going forward, that everyone's got to have that same buy-in in order to do something special again.
What do you think of Caitlin Kramer's
season? Unbelievable.
Lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
Maybe more than what people were saying.
First of all, she is such an amazing person. She is just fierce on the ice. Her competitive nature is through the roof. When she puts on that mask, it's like we have two different Caitlins. We have the fun, upgoing, playful Caitlin off the ice, and then on the ice, it's all of a sudden she is like a shark going after blood. She pushes herself each and every day in the weight room and on the ice. Has done great work in the classroom. So we knew she was going to be great, but to see everything that she has accomplished this year, I'm so proud of her, and she's only going to keep getting better and better. She's truly a person. We talk about being a student of the game. She was constantly wanting feedback, in my office, watching shifts. She's that player. If something irked her in a game where she felt like she could have done something better, she's the first to come back and point it out, to be like, I think I should have done this, and you're right. Like 9 times out of 10, absolutely. And, we put her into the fire right away. She was in all critical situations for us. And hockey is so dynamic, it's fluid, so you're constantly learning and growing. So I felt like she continued to get better and better as the season progressed, and that's what we're going to continue to see from her.
Where do you think she took the biggest step in her growth? Was
it
really focusing that energy?
Yep.
You mentioned that mentality on the ice.
Yep.
The first half, Kelly kept getting nervous about how many penalty minutes she was racking up.
Yep.
And I feel like that didn't have to be a worry in the second half. It seemed like she was focusing that energy a lot better.
I think her biggest growth came in her defensive part of her game, where she's always had the puck, so she's very, very offensive. So we didn't really need to worry so much about that. We were like, as soon as you get the puck, you have the green light, just go, girl. Figure things out. You're on your own there. But defensively, I think it was really important for her to learn how to play as a unit of 5. We always talked about, we want to be that team that, we want to get pucks back within 7 seconds. And so here's how we're going to do it, but not individually, as a unit. So her awareness became really, really great in terms of like, oh, okay, my wing's first person back, I need to fill in here. So we weren't over duplicating, and she was conserving energy, which gave her more energy than to be able to showcase what she so brilliantly does on offense. So I really saw a lot of growth there in her game.
In year two and this year,
Yep.
last year she kind of split the duties with Haley. This year she was,
Yeah.
not just 1A, she was number one.
She-
I feel she handled.
She really bought in. Ev just, right from the summer bought into her fitness and doing what she needed to do off the ice so that she could, play for us back-to-back games and play, like have that consistency that she was able to play with. So her buy-in right from, last year was just tremendous. She wanted it, she earned it, and every single day she gave us a chance to win. She's similar to Kramer, she's this like light, fluffy person off the ice, and then on the ice, it's all business, knows how to have fun on the ice too, don't get me wrong, but she has that competitive nature and is somebody who, again, student of the game, constantly doing video with Justin Grant and working on the little areas that she wants to continue to get better at. But for me, I thought that her understanding of the defensive game continued to grow, which allowed her to be more calm in the net, have her beat be really set and ready. And it was just ended up being super hard to beat her. I thought her puck skills were excellent. It was like we broke out fairly easy every single time she was able to get control of the puck. I'm like, dump it in. We got a 6 defenseman out there. She's gonna make the right play 99.9% of the time. Ev, I saw tremendous growth in her game. Couldn't be happier with her play. So excited for her as well. Just being named to the Canadian national team. So you're going to the World Championships, and we're going to be rooting hard for her.
What is this roster going to look like next year? What are the areas?
Yeah.
Goaltender, you're going to need to find a third, if not maybe more goaltenders. How do you approach that and attack that starting right away?
Yeah. So we don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but we're obviously we're bringing in another young goalie for next year as well, and we'll continue to just see how this works out. I think we're going to be okay in that position.
Do you have another goaltender?
We do, yeah. Right now, already committed. That's going to be coming next year, and we'll continue. Again, we don't. That's such a fluid and changing situation, so we're not 100% sure how that's going to look, but we're still doing our back work in order to make sure we're solid there.
Where's this goaltender coming from?
She's coming from, she played in a team with Connecticut, so her name's Sophia Villeneuve, she played with Connecticut Rangers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's that? I think we had asked this earlier in the year when the roster's getting down. Can you pick up players or whatever mid-season?
Yeah, it's tough to do.
It's tougher in the women's game. How tough is it on the women's side finding recruits this late in the game? And it seems like men have junior hockey where you get some late bloomers, but women's recruiting seems to be done 2-3 years in advance. Are there still areas that you can find?
Yes.
That diamond in the rough and such like that?
I think one transfer portal is going to be big, and continuing to recruit from the transfer portal. It's just a fact of what's happening in the NCAA. So, we'll continue to do that. And also, I just also want to say that I'm so happy with our young first-year students and how far they came, our first-year, student athletes and how far they have come. I think Zoe Kroc is a kid that, got thrown into the fire right away as a freshman. She shows a ton of poise and composure. She's such a good skater. She learned a lot in terms of systems from us this year. And I think, so you take players like that, and now they have a year under their belt, they're only going to get more confident and be able to contribute more. It's the same thing like with an Ida Carlson, her first year coming in, having to learn a lot. And you look at what she did for us this year, unbelievable. She's spectacular, another player who's made her respective national team and will be playing for Sweden in this upcoming World Championship. So I think we also are taking a ton of pride in the student athletes that we brought in and developed them because they're constantly taking those steps.
Your preference to build more through recruiting than the transfer portal?
I think you just got to do it evenly, That's going to be really, really important. Just because the transfer portal's here, so it's going to have to become a part of it. But at the same time, I really enjoy the recruiting process and getting to really, you have a longer period of time, 2 years to really get to know the people that you're bringing in, which is really exciting. But then again, when you bring in people from the transfer portal, like the ones that you end up picking up, like an Olivia Mobley or a Tindra Holm, like they are like ready to give their very all, and sometimes it's their last opportunity here. They're coming for their last year, and their buy-in for us was unbelievable. It was amazing. And obviously both of those players did so well for us and performed so well. So I think both has its benefits. Yeah.
We're losing the fifth year from COVID, so there won't necessarily be the Olivia Mobleys or Reese last year came in, as a fifth year. Jagir when she was here. I'm wondering how much you can rely on the transfer portal these coming years compared to maybe past years.
That's a good question. And we'll see how that looks, because not everybody is in there right now, and obviously there's still NCAA play going on, so we'll see what happens with that. But we're getting a very good transfer. I don't know. Are we allowed to mention transfers?
Yes.
Yeah, but in general, you also get those kids who maybe got injured a year and took a medical, red shirt. And, so we have some of those players that are going to be joining our program. Again, not 100% sure if we're allowed to say, but we're pretty excited about the talent that is going to be coming in from that portal as well.
With respect to Caitlin, I think I remarked, Matt's being all negative about our penalty minutes, that's normal. But I remarked during one of the games I called that she was already getting, I felt like, star treatment in this league, which means she's basically getting the hell beaten out of her on a regular basis. That can be really difficult on a young person.
Yeah.
How do you think she handled that as a season?
Really well.
She got a lot of attention.
Yeah, really well. She definitely has a target on her back. Like, how are you going to stop a bullet? Like, you got to try to take them out, right? And so I think with her, she understood that, and she just also had to make sure she continued to develop her game where she can be physical, play aggressive, while staying out of the box. And I thought she did a tremendous job with that. Like, there is a ton of growth with her throughout the year. But she's going to continue to get targeted, just because of the eliteness and the type of player that she is. But, for me, she's big, she's strong, and you never want that kind of a player to take a step backwards. You always want them to be able to play that type of hockey, but always in control, and that's the most important part. And I think every young athlete has that to learn,
I feel like this is a hockey issue. It's not a women's hockey issue. It's not a college hockey issue. I think it's a hockey problem. It happens in the NHL. It happens in the PW. As a sport, do we need to do a better job of protecting our elite players? You mentioned earlier in the year, one of your frustrations was you felt like a hook on your team was not the same as a hook by your team. There's no better example of that on your team than Caitlin Kramer. When a body check on her is not the same as a body check by her.
she's so big and strong. It's hard to get her off her feet. You know, Claire Van Weeren got a penalty in the NCAA tournament, taking out someone's feet. Was it a penalty? Yes, but I also thought Claire was much bigger and stronger, more powerful than the other player was. So sometimes that's going to happen, and that's just, you know, the reality of it. And you're always constantly needing to learn as an athlete, you know, that those balances, those intricacies, I can't say that word. Cut that.
As a sport, do we need to do better at protecting players like her and giving her opportunities to do the things?
I think when the call, if it's penalty, like if the call's there, then make the call. You know, it doesn't matter who it's against. Like, just make the call and make sure it's consistent. And I think our refs this year honestly did a really good job reffing in our league. I think we have some of the best officiating in the NCAA. Our refs tend to let our players play aggressive. And that's really good, because you look at the way the PWHL is going right now. It's super aggressive. We're preparing our players to play for their national programs in the PWHL. So we want them to play physical. We want them to play aggressive. And you know what? Getting penalties is a part of the game. We'll kill them off.
Ashley Messier's son.
Okay, great. We can mention her. Okay, yeah, great.
Tell us about Ashley Messier. Obviously, she's available because the Ivies.
Well, she's still playing too, so you know, and
you played her, but
yeah,
kind of awkward.
Yeah.
The other day. But
Yeah, I know
tell us about her.
we're getting a great character person. She's a leader on their team as well. She's super dynamic, phenomenal skater. She's a part of the Canadian National under 22 development program. And we're so excited to get someone like her. You know, she controls their power play. So it's like I said, we really have enjoyed getting to know her as a person. She's an excellent student as well. So we're opening up our arms really wide. Come on in, Ash. But yeah, just she's going to be a great addition to our program.
What's that process like? It's got to be tough for her searching for a new school. She
Yeah.
won there, but what was that like recruiting her from the portal while she was still playing for Cornell? And
Yeah.
you had her locked up before she played you guys in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. You know, actually, Doug DeRoe him and I are very good friends. We coached together with the national program, and he had reached out to me about her. And he also thought that Doug and I coach very similar, very systematic, and she's a very cerebral player. And he thought she would really enjoy her experience if she were to decide to come play here at UMD. So I was super excited to get that phone call. You know, and then obviously followed up with Ashley, and I was just even, like, I always knew she was a good hockey player, had the skill set, all of that, the talent on the ice. Didn't really know her off the ice, and once we started to have conversations, I was like, wow, like, no wonder she's, you know, a leader on your team. And we couldn't be more happy to get a quality person and player.
When you talk about a quality person, it probably says something when Doug's calling you on her behalf, saying.
I paid him.
Saying,
Yeah.
hey, this is a good
Yeah.
that would fit for you and such.
Yeah. You know, when Doug speaks highly of somebody, I am all ears. You know, he's such a good person, an amazing coach, and I really, really enjoyed my experience when I did get the opportunities to coach with him. And so when someone like that also speaks so highly of somebody, you're going to be all ears and listen. So I'm really just happy that turned out, and obviously wish her and her team the continued success here as they go forward.
How many players are you looking to bring in? Like, do you have a target?
Top secret.
Top secret?
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had a target after going through this year, like this is how many bodies I'd like to have, or maybe you don't set a target, you leave it open to,
Yep.
depending what's out there.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah. Yeah.
How weird was it coaching against Ashley Messier Saturday, knowing that you are going to be coaching her on your team next fall?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really think about it. Honestly, all that much. My focus was so much on what we needed to do and our players. And, we always talked about the importance of that as a team, no matter where you are, what phase you are in the season. It's important to always be where your feet are at, So that's where my focus was in that moment.
And frankly, watching, I wouldn't have known she was coming here the way she played. She certainly didn't seem like she was affected by it either, so.
Yeah.
Kind of back to this past season with your group. We talked about Caitlin a little bit, and you mentioned Ev, but you brought up Zoe Croc too.
Yeah.
It felt like her and Grace really took some massive steps. They played a lot together.
Yes.
Kind of each took massive steps in their own way as the season went on.
100%. Again, their buy-in was tremendous. And, Grace has already been here for a year. Grace also really took Zoe under her wing, so that was really nice to be able to see that connection. And the two of them really connected on the bench together too, like constantly talking, and I think like for me as a coach, when I see that kind of chemistry, that kind of connection, good things are happening, and that line produced a lot for us this year and in critical situations.
What is, for you, what's the next step for somebody like Cam Davis? It felt like another player that the more ice she got, especially in the second half, she started to play with more and more confidence.
Yeah, she did. She's super fast and she's physical and she's really good defensively. So I think, the next step for her is to continue to work on that offensive part of the game. And, like a lot of our young players, the offense usually comes with the more playing time and the more confidence they continue to get. So I think that'll be a natural progression for her.
Do you know yet specifically, you got people, within Hockey Canada and stuff like that, I'm wondering, do you know specifically what the schedules and...
Yeah, I don't know yet.
For the National Olympic team, the World Championships coming up, but...
Yep.
Just wondering how that's going to fully, this is going to be
it'll be a different year. It's just the only thing that we know is it's going to be different from past Olympic cycles because before we had the centralization, and with the pro league now, they're not going to be able to do that. So I'm sure it'll look like little blocks of, bringing people together in order to get ready for the Olympic Games. But the exact plan, I'm not aware of.
Do you know,
for any real program or country.
Is it going to, if it's going to align at all, or could Sweden have picked this time frame, and Canada and U.S. all have different time frames? If it's going to align at all so that, in theory, like the WCHA could build in maybe like, okay, we're not going to schedule games this weekend because everyone's going to be with their international teams.
Yeah. The U.S. has been a little bit more vocal about when they're potentially going to be bringing people together, and that's kind of lined up with some of our off stuff. But, no matter what, we're probably going to be missing some players next year. But so are a lot of other teams in the WCHA. So
it's just going to have to be something that everyone in the league's going to have to
deal with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like to see maybe some better communication and a better alignment of all of these so that, like we were talking between press conferences that, like FIFA, for example, they've got their international schedule, and the domestic leagues that play professionally, they build breaks in to accommodate those schedules. It seems like this would be a great opportunity for the WCHA and even the other college leagues to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And give their players and give you guys an opportunity to have close to full rosters for most of your games.
Yeah, I think that communication is getting better, and the PWHL, for example, has been really great with communicating through our commissioners and so forth. So, and in Hockey Canada, I know, and USA Hockey, they've always been really proactive. Like they're down at our meetings in Florida, you know, so a lot of those discussions happen there. So we usually get more of a clearer picture of what's going on. But yeah, I think just going forward, that communication between all of those entities is going to become really, really critical. And you know, we're in a new phase right now, so everything we're learning and growing together.
With the games in Italy, China, it seemed like players were gone for a longer time, and then a lot of players learned they needed more recovery time afterwards coming from Beijing. Do you have an idea like how long the window's going to be for Italy? How long players could be gone yet? Or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't looked too far ahead, like as far as that. But in the past, like, I mean, our players have come back and we've given them like 2 days and they're back at it.
Yeah,
So
I remember
yeah.
episodes had mentioned like she was really used to, you know, going to Sweden, coming back
Yeah.
for 2 days in Beijing. She later said, and Noah Cates, I think, said the same thing with the men. They found out they needed more recovery time.
Yeah. You would never know that with Emma Soderberg. I mean, she was spectacular, you know. And I think that's one thing with our players; they're used to it. Like Ida Carlson is used to getting over there last minute, and their federation has been really good with allowing them to kind of go over, just like with Emma Soderberg and Kim Martin. Like all the way along, they've been really good with. They understand that this is the best hockey, and you know where their players are going to continue to develop. And but our players really have been really good at that travel and using a couple of days to get back into the swing of things. So,
are we all worrying about the international Olympic breaks more than you and more than we need to be, or like how does that impact your roster
Yeah.
building?
yeah, all great questions.
There's just a lot of
Yeah,
unknown, right?
there's a lot of unknown. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Coach, you lose a lot of leadership ability on your team this year.
Yeah.
How do you expect to fill those shoes in the
Yeah.
offseason coming into
Yeah.
the season?
I'm really excited about the job that our leadership team did, because I feel like the buy-in was incredible, right? And a lot of that stems from the amazing people that we had in our leadership group, like Nina and Clara, obviously, you know, Hannah and MK, and so they have in turn imparted that onto our future players. So I think it'll be a real easy rollover as we go forward. You know, MK was a part of that leadership group, and obviously she's going to continue to be a leader for us going forward. So having that consistency there is critical, is huge, you know. And I'm excited about some of the players too that we're bringing in who have also been leaders on their respective programs, you know. And it's something that we take a ton of pride in, like every single week. You know, I don't think that leadership's something that you can learn, right? So we take a ton of pride in constantly talking about how we want to represent ourselves, how we want to be, and the importance of that, you know, respect, all those things that go into developing great leadership.
How expectant are you to see your seniors leave this program and go have careers beyond this place?
Yeah, I know they're all going to do amazing things, you know, whatever path they end up choosing, whether it's getting out into the workforce or playing in the SDHL or playing in the PWHL. I'll tell you, they are exceptional people, exceptional human beings, and whoever gets the opportunity to pick them up are going to be so lucky to bring them and have them be a part of their new families.
Do you have any early inklings of what that potentially could look like for the players?
I think some of them will probably do, obviously, PWHL, you know, and some others, maybe it's, you know, they've already talked about wanting the experience of going over to Europe, you know, and getting that opportunity and playing there. Two amazing leagues, you know. The wonderful thing about our program, too, is we have great connections on both sides of the equation. So I know Kim Martens and Erica Holst, their team just won the SDHL championship, and something that we're super proud of, you know, to see our alums continuing to have success overseas and all the amazing things that they're doing there to grow the women's game.
Have those two reached out to you at all yet for
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say, despite just the world changing in college athletics, and yes, not a Big Ten school, but being a program that really does breed professional hockey players, how much does that
Yeah.
attract and help in your recruiting
Yeah.
process when you're like, hey, we don't have the funds that X, Y, and Z program does, but we will develop you to
Right.
now we'll have a career beyond
Yeah.
this.
And I think that's something that our program has been known for, is just our development, you know, and what we continue to do on a yearly basis with our student athletes to help them to be able to go on to their next career path, whatever that is, you know. And obviously we have a great track record of getting people in the PWHL now, and we have an amazing track record of players continuing to play with their national program. And I will say, like, you know, I don't even know what the figure is, but a long time ago when I was coaching with the national team, I think it was 0.02% of all people who play hockey in Canada, females that play hockey in Canada, will ever make the Canadian Respect national team. And that's just one time. Our players are doing it over, not just one time, over and over and over again, you know. And to see that, you know, even at the last Olympics, how many Bulldogs were leaders of their respective programs wearing the A or the C is, I think, a testament to what we do here at UMD. And that, to me, is a huge selling feature. We develop our student athletes as people and as athletes, and it's something that we take a ton of pride in. That's our DNA.
I know that it's only been a couple of days to reflect on this past season, but what are some first words, or you can even title this past year in a book or a chapter, what comes to mind?
Special. Just the opportunity to work with such incredible people each and every day. And like I said, everybody, you know, student athletes, administration, support staff, coaching staff, our media, all of our fans. Everybody is so pro UMD. I love it, you know, and it's something to be really proud of. So I think if I had to pick one word, it would be special. This is a special place.
Last thing I'll ask you, I know it's been a process to reflect on it, but even as somebody that now leads a women's program and then the growth that you've seen in women's hockey as a whole,
Yeah.
where's your headline on all that?
Yeah. Are you talking about just the overall growth in the women's game?
Hockey,
It's
yeah, absolutely.
it's amazing. It's something that you always hope will happen, and to see it actually happening for me is really, really special. You know, especially as like a pioneer of the game. And there was so much. I feel so privileged in terms of all the growth that happened while I was growing up. You know, I mean, going from women not even having the opportunity to have full scholarships to scholarships, you know, to getting to play collegiate hockey, whatever country you were in, you know, to now to national team involvement, to pro hockey. It's been amazing. The sport is awesome. It continues to grow, and it's going to continue to keep growing. And it's so important that we continue to highlight women doing amazing things in the world of athletics, because there are so many amazing women out there, and it's important for us to make sure we continue to feature that so that our younger generation has something to grow up and aspire to.
What's the future of the Frank War?
Yeah, I think the Frank War is done for right now. I need a little break from that. Yeah. But good. All right. Thank you guys so much.